Jeanne Weber, the 7th of October 1874, the 5th of July 1918, was a French serial killer. She strangled at least 10 children, including her own. She was both convicted of murder and declared insane in 1908. She hanged herself 10 years later. Early life. Born in a small fishing village in western France, Weber left home for Paris at age 14, working various menial jobs until her marriage in 1893. Her husband was an alcoholic, and 2 of their 3 children died in 1905. By then, Weber was also drinking heavily, residing in a seedy Paris tenement with her spouse and her 7-year-old son. Murders. On the 2nd of March 1905, Weber was babysitting for her sister-in-law when one of the woman's 2 daughters, 18-month-old Georgette, suddenly fell ill and died. Strange bruises on her neck were ignored by the examining physician, and Weber was welcomed back to babysit on the 11th of March. 2-year-old Suzanne did not survive the visit, but a doctor blamed the second death on unexplained convulsions. Weber was babysitting for her brother on the 25th of March, when his daughter, 7-year-old Jeanne, suffered a sudden attack of choking, complete with red marks on her throat. The child survived that episode, but she was less fortunate the following day, when Weber returned. Diphtheria was blamed for her death, and for that of Weber's son, Marcel, just 4 days later. Once again, the telltale marks of strangulation were ignored. On the 5th of April 1905, Weber invited 2 of her sisters-in-law to dinner, and remained home with her 10-year-old nephew Maurice while the other women went out shopping. They returned prematurely, to find Maurice gasping on the bed, his throat mottled with bruises, Jeanne standing over him with a crazed expression on her face. Charges were filed, and Weber's trial opened on the 29th of January 1906, with the prosecution alleging 8 murders, including all 3 of Weber's own children and 2 others, Lucie Léandre and Marcel Poyatos, who had died while in her care. It was alleged that Weber killed her son in March to throw suspicion off, but Weber was being defended by the brilliant defense lawyer Henri Robert, and jurors were reluctant to believe the worst about a grieving mother. She was acquitted on the 6th of February. 14 months later, on the 7th of April 1907, a physician from the town of Villedieu was summoned to the home of a peasant named Bayouzet. He was greeted at the door by a babysitter, Madame Moulinet, who led him to the cot where 9-year-old Auguste Bayouzet lay dead, his throat badly bruised. The cause of death was listed as convulsions, but the doctor changed his opinion on the 4th of May, when Madame Moulinet was identified as Jeanne Weber. Weber engaged a lawyer Henri Robert once more. Held over for trial, Weber was released in December, after a second autopsy blamed the boy's death on typhoid. Weber quickly dropped from sight, surfacing next as an orderly at a children's hospital in Faucombault, moving on from there to the children's home in Ergeville, run by friends who sought to make up for the wrongs that justice has inflicted upon an innocent woman. Working as Marie Lemoyne, Weber had been on the job for less than a week when she was caught strangling a child in the home. The owners quietly dismissed her and the incident was covered up. Back in Paris, Weber was arrested for vagrancy and briefly confined to the asylum at Nanterre, but doctors there pronounced her sane and set her free. She drifted into prostitution, picking up a common-law husband along the way. On the 8th of May 1908, the couple settled at an inn in Commercy. A short time later, Weber was found strangling the innkeeper's son, 10-year-old Marcel Poirot, with a bloody handkerchief. The father had to punch her 3 times in the face before she would release the lifeless body. Death held for trial on murder charges. Weber was declared insane on the 25th of October 1908, packed off to the asylum at Maréville. Credited with at least 10 murders, she survived 10 years in captivity before manually strangling herself in 1918. References. External links. Crime Library. French ogress again arrested. New York Times. May 5, 1907. Media related to Jeanne Weber at Wikimedia Commons.